Hey, this is Brenda Meller back again for another LinkedIn profile mini audit. And today I'm joined by Sybil Stewart. Hey, Sybil, how are you doing today?
Good morning. I am well, and you?
I'm doing great and delighted to have you here. You're a member of Innovation Women. And I did a little shout out in our last Speaker Friend Friday call. And I said, hey, who wants a profile mini audit as a speaker? And you had emailed me. So I'm delighted to be here today with you. As I'm pulling your LinkedIn profile up on screen, Sybil, why don't you take a minute, tell us your name, what do you do, and who do you help?
Yes, so hello, everybody. Again, my name is Sybil Stewart. People tell me I am a brand positioning queen. So I specialize in helping female founders increase their visibility and their cash flow without losing their core.
It. And it sounds like you rehearsed this and you've got such a great statement when I asked that. So, which is key because if you're here to help people with marketing themselves and branding themselves, you gotta be on the ball with that as well. Awesome. So, two directions we can take on this session here today, Sybil. Do you have specific questions that you're looking for feedback on as it relates to your LinkedIn profile, or would you like some general feedback?
I love general feedback. I said, when you need help, you find an expert. So I'm really glad that I can phone an expert.
Yeah, perfect. All right, so let's jump right on in. So you're working with female founders, and I know you're also a speaker as well. When you're speaking to audiences, are you speaking to groups of female founders, or what's the audience that you're speaking to?
So I've done a lot of college, university, women's empowerment stages. So helping these girls realize that regardless of their career choices, they need a personal brand. And then I also do a little bit of corporate speaking as well about entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship. So while my core consulting business is specifically geared towards female founders, my voice is for any woman who needs to own her space and her voice.
Okay, great. So categorically, we're all in the same bucket, so to speak, which is great. So, okay, I'll give you two pieces of feedback based on the images that are at the top of your profile. We've got your headshot photo, and then we've got your brand image behind you. Um, the brand header image, I haven't visited your website yet, but I'm assuming there's some continuity there with colors, fonts, the chest symbol, right? Going in there. So my question for you is, how long has it been since you've changed that? Is that a fairly new image, or has that been on there for a while?
That is probably a week or so old.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, good. So you're right on top of it. My feedback was going to be just making sure that you're thinking about changing out that image periodically, even if you're keeping some of the same brand elements, either changing out the messages or the ways they appear, things like that. I always encourage people to look at your profile from the desktop, which is what we're viewing right now, but also pull it up on the LinkedIn mobile app just to make sure
Mhm.
that all of the items that are in your header image at the top are visible, and specifically, what's the one key message that you want people to walk away with from your brand header image? Making sure that that's visible from the desktop as well as from the mobile. Now, I noticed you say grab your personal brand audit, and then below your headline, you've got that link that you use. I love it. It says free brand audit inside. One suggestion I might make in terms of your header is just highlighting grab your free personal brand audit, maybe in a different color. I'm thinking like we've already got white, so maybe it's yellow or maybe it's red or something, just to draw my eye in a bit. Just something to think
Gotcha.
about, because then I look at that and I see that you've got a website. There's a link that's below, and that could help just to pull that out. In addition, there's a lot of information on here. You've got basically one, two, three, four lines on there. I look at what might not be essential for them to know in the header image. Like, for example, brand positioning consultant. That might be something that you could take off of there. And sometimes when we take items off, it just helps to create clarity and give more focal emphasis to everything else that's on. My expression, Sybil, is like people are lazy. We just don't like to read a lot. And the less you give us, the more likely we are to read everything. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I was literally counting the words. I'm like struggling to align. I'm like, two
Right.
doesn't count, I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, it's not necessarily the number of words. It's just I kind of look up, look down, look up, and I think about how much am I reading? And it's
Yeah.
almost like you want to think about this as like a billboard on the side of a highway. You've only got a couple seconds to catch their attention as they drive by. Now, yeah, they're going to be sitting in front of the LinkedIn profile, but again, people are lazy, and we're in this day and age of social media and things are being thrown at us so quickly. So we don't sit and ponder and consume it. We kind of skim. So if you can
Yeah.
make it easier to skim on there. All right, next thing is your headshot photo, a beautiful photo that you have on here. What I recommend with headshot photo is that you make your face from basically the top of your forehead to the bottom of your chin. Your face should be about 50 to 60% of the circle. We really only should be seeing just a little glimpse of your neckline on here. And part of the reason I encourage people to do that is that 50 to 70% of our profile views are coming from the LinkedIn mobile app. And the other, range of individuals who are viewing our headshot photo are seeing it in a really tiny view. When they're scrolling through the homepage feed, when you're coming up in search results, when you're posting, you're replying, you're commenting, those types of things. And your headshot photo, headshot photo and your headline follow you around. So these are really important items. And when you're more zoomed in with your headshot photo, you look more important, more approachable, um, more engaging, so to speak. And as I'm leaning into the camera, you can see that effect. As I get further back, I feel a little bit more distant to you. So I might just take that photo and zoom it in. Might be a slight modification there.
Okay.
Okay. And the good thing is inside LinkedIn, there's a zooming tool, so you can click on that and make that adjustment if you like. All right, let's see. Now your headline is, are you an accomplished professional seeking to elevate your personal and professional brand? Do you mainly work with women?
99%, yes.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we could tweak and get the word woman in there.
I've toyed with that. So I went
Yeah.
from woman in business, I went to female founders,
Hmm.
and everything felt really heavy. And so
Yeah.
then I was like, okay, how can I keep pulling but still give it? So yeah, I'll take a
Yeah.
recommendation for that
I
one.
think that from you, female founders, and
Yeah.
right away, I'm like, and are you an accomplished professional? Which seems like you went from very specific female founders to accomplished professional, which could be anyone. That could run the gamut from, entry, not entry level, but like experience all the way up to C-suite in there. The other thing I'd like to see in your headline is you've used it in some places, but not consistently throughout. Um, they refer to it as camel case or headline case, where you capitalize all of the important words. So
Mm.
the A in accomplished, the P in professional, the S in seeking, the E in elevate. You have that in the second half. Brand marketing for experts, brand position queen, keynote speaker. You have all of those first capped, but in the first sentence, it's not. So I would first cap that because I feel like it helps to give it a little bit more emphasis. It looks a little bit more important. And the other thing is, as you are posting, as you're commenting, I'm going to go down to your activity feed to illustrate the point I'm making here. That headline, it's about the first line that follows you around. So I want you to be very intentional about what appears in those first 40 to 60 characters in there. And for you, I'd love to see female founder in there, and branding, brand marketing. I feel like those are some of your keywords as well. I don't know if that goes in the first line, but I feel like we want something in there that helps me to understand right away in that previewable area who you're helping and what you're helping them with. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And we want to think about the headline can be used to help to bring people back to our profile. So we see it here as you're posting. I'm going to click on your comment button next to see if when you're commenting on other people's posts, let me see if I can find one in here. So we see your headshot photo, and you can see here now when I'm talking about the headshot photo, how far back your face is. If you were to zoom in, we can see you. And then the headline, it appears here as well. So the headline can be used to help to bring people back to your profile. And our goal is to get them to come back so they can read the full statement on your headline, but also to scroll down and keep the right people reading longer. But if we need to be very intentional about those first few characters. Is that helpful for you?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. I do see inside your headline, you've got, I love the use of emojis. I might suggest taking that chest symbol emoji and putting it before the A and R. Were you thinking that already?
I was like, when you know how somebody else
Yeah.
needs to do yep.
Yes. You don't need to say it. You're like, I was thinking that in the back of my mind, but until somebody, and I think you could start using that chest symbol. I don't know if you do this already in your post, but that word strategy and that chess symbol, I think you could use it and start to create, it probably is part of your personal brand already in your website and other places, but use it more intentionally in your posts and things like that. The other thing is inside your headline, I see that you've used it's probably like one of those text formatting tools because brand marketing for experts is bolded. You may be aware of this, so I might be telling you something I already know, but when you use bolded characters in headline fields or in your about statement on LinkedIn, LinkedIn won't read those as words, they read them as characters, as images. So essentially that comes out of search results. Now you've got brand positioning queen in another part in your headline, but if you want to come up in searches for brand marketing, it's the trade-off here, Sybil, because I like that it's bolded. It draws my eye as a human being, but you're losing the algorithm, the SEO search results with that. Okay. So if it were me personally, I probably wouldn't brand it inside the headline, or bold it rather inside the headline, but use bolding other places in your about statement and other places. But do be conscientious about the fact that when you bold it, those are now characters or symbols. They don't come up in search results. So just make sure that you're repeating them in paragraph format or in bulleted lists in other areas. Does that make sense?
Got it.
Yeah, cool. All right, awesome. Let me see if there's anything else. Okay. I noticed right at the top on your right-hand side of your profile on the where it says University of Alabama at Birmingham, and there's not a company page that's listed. Is that intentional? Do you have a business?
Yeah, it's there. Why isn't it
Okay,
listed?
so it looks like probably what has happened is you added in, and congratulations, by the way, on being a TEDx organizer. What city are you affiliated with?
This is Durham, North Carolina.
Oh, that's wonderful. And it looks like this is fairly new. Um, with this, what I would probably do if I were you is move the Sage Stewart, your company, up to the first position. So from your view, when you go into experience, there'll be a gray pencil icon, and then there'll be an up-down caret, and you can drag and move around your current experiences. So any that are currently open, you can move around in there. So move that up to the first position. And then the next thing you'll want to do, actually, I'm going to pull up my profiles. I'm showing you this other technique, is I want you to go to your top header card. And there's a section in there where you have to enable your experience to show so that it appears at the top of your profile. Let me pull mine over on screen here first so I can show you what I'm referring to. Whoop, here we go. Okay, so mine, it has my company, Meller Marketing, in the top right-hand side, and below that is an education, most recent or the selected education. When you click on this gray pencil icon at the top of your profile, scroll down to where it says current position, and you have to make sure it says show current company in my intro. And it has to be the one that's in the top position on there. School, same thing, show current. So you probably have school checked, but for some reason, and it might have been accidental, Sybil, you might have been scrolling through and you accidentally unchecked it. And I always tell people LinkedIn is confusing and it's not a perfect, science. And unfortunately, that's why I have a business, because LinkedIn is confusing and all these little quirks and things happen. And you might not even know, like, how did I even set that up? Or how do I enable that button? How do I get that in there? So by having that at the top, then it helps to create that brand continuity to your business name, and also could drive some people to visit your business page in there. Okay. Is this helpful for you so far?
That is awesome. Thank you.
All right, awesome. Let me just scroll through and see if there's anything else that's capturing my attention in here. Got some good use of featured. Looks like you're posting pretty regularly. I see, and I don't know if these were within the same time period. I see 3 days ago, 3 days ago. Keep in mind that within LinkedIn, there's an algorithm penalty that occurs if you post too closely together. So more than 18 hours apart would be, you get a penalty for both of those posts. It might have been this was like late the night before and this was the next morning, but I just want to make sure that you're aware of that. I usually tell people, you should be posting at minimum once a week, working up to no more than once every business day, but just so you're aware, because some people aren't aware of that feature that's in there. Okay. And then with the TEDx, do you know if TEDx Raleigh Durham has its own company page on LinkedIn yet?
So there's TEDx Raleigh.
Yeah.
There's TEDx. Let's just say we all have our own ones. There's about 4 or 5 organizers here, and each
Okay.
of ours are named something different.
So my question is, could you link it to a page so we can get rid of that box with the blue boxes in it and get the TEDx logo there instead? So if there's a local page for the group that you are an organizer with, link it there. If not, and you have the ability to do so, create one and get all the other board members and organizers to link it to their profile. And if everyone says, no, we don't want to do that because then we have to keep up with posting and all these other things, then link it to the national TEDx page.
Okay.
right?
Fair.
So there's a couple options, but do make sure you get that move to second position because we want to make sure that you're giving your business kind of the highlight inside there. All right.
Gotcha.
Perfect. All right. I'm going to pause here. I just want to see, was this helpful for you today?
Oh my goodness. So it's it's why I'm not a LinkedIn expert. I tell people I know LinkedIn, but I am not a LinkedIn expert. Because
Oh,
it's those small details that
yeah.
I know to do, but right, you got to follow your own thing. So this was extremely helpful.
Oh, well, thank you for the opportunity. I always like getting the opportunity to talk to new people and kind of give their profiles a once over. And this is what I do for a living. I look at profiles all the time. So for me, it's like it's easy to see minor tweak. And your profile, I want us to let you know it's not bad at all. It's a good looking profile. So my goal with these mini audits is just to dial it up for you a bit and help to enhance and see what you don't see and maybe to give you some suggestions as well. So thank you again for joining me today, Sybil.
Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. And for our audience, I want to ask, Sybil, are you open to connection? So if people are visiting your profile after watching the YouTube video or listening to you on the podcast, are you open to connecting with them?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
And I should just read that URL off before we pop off of the LinkedIn screen here. So if you go to linkedin.com/in/the Sage Stewart, that's TheSagestewart, and mention that you heard Sybil here on the LinkedIn mini audit with Brenda Meller. I know she'll be willing to accept you. And by the way, if you're interested in getting a LinkedIn profile mini audit, please go to mellermarketing.com/list and you can download my tips sheet of 15 profile tips for coaches and consultants. You'll get a couple of emails from me. The last email you get will have that opportunity to book your LinkedIn profile mini audit. With that said, hope you find this helpful and have a wonderful day.